Very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News here on TV1. You're joining me, Devi Paldano. Now, before we head into your stories in more detail, let's first take a look at your headlines this afternoon. Discussion between Pakistani Prime Minister and President Rajapaksa. Parliament heats up during the opposition leader's address. Opposition questions the decision to hand over the Northern Islands to China if Norochalai was a failure. Now jumping right into a headline making stories, Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan and President Gotabaya Rajapaksa held bilateral talks this morning. The Pakistani Premier is scheduled to leave the island this afternoon. Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan and President Gotabaya Rajapaksa held discussions at the Presidential Secretariat at 10:30 this morning. Following the discussions, the Pakistani Premier also participated in a trade and investment summit chaired by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Prime Minister Imran Khan attended a dinner hosted at the Temple Trees last night as well. Representatives of the government of Pakistan and several Sri Lankan politicians were also present. Meanwhile, opposition MPs raised questions about the power projects implemented in the country. How many times did the Lakvijaya power plant fail after it was established? First, the power plant failed 51 times. The second one failed 29 times and the third power plant failed 28 times. The engineers at the Ceylon Electricity Board did not have a thorough idea about the breakdowns at the initial hour. It is clear that the second and third instances recorded a lesser number of failures when compared to the first, which means the officers have updated themselves each time.
What's said now is that only China can fix it every time it fails. People are of the stance that there is something hidden here. What's your response?
It is not 100% true because 24 technicians are already working at these power plants under a contract. I state with responsibility that the new technology has been studied by our engineers.
There are issues in these power plants and China is involved. But then again, you have reached into agreements with China to invest in another power project in 3 northern islands. The government that assured that investors in Sri Lanka will be given priority has now taken steps to make this another Chinese colony. What is your involvement to ensure it does not happen that way?
Some media reported that the 3 islands will be given away on lease. That is wrong. Granting electricity to these islands is a national requirement. We have called for an international tender and the Asian Development Bank is also involved. Until now, the contract has not been given for anyone. We're now joined by Jamal Ratnayaka in the newsroom to give us the very latest update regarding the UNHRC. Jamal?
Thank you very much, David, and a very good afternoon to all our viewers. As you know, the 46th sessions of the United Nations Human Rights Council is currently underway in Geneva, Switzerland, and much attention has been garnered by Sri Lanka at this year's sessions, especially due to 3 main reasons, and let me run you by those 3 reasons. The first was the report compiled by the High Commissioner of the Human Rights Council, Michelle Bachelet, who has given reasons of the accountability process, reconciliation and human rights on Sri Lanka. The second reason is the core group led by the United Kingdom, who is set to bring out a fresh resolution against Sri Lanka based on the report tabled by the High Commissioner of Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet. This resolution will be put forth in the coming hours of today. Moreover, this report will be discussed by the Human Rights Council later today at around 7:30 p.m. local time. Now, yesterday, revealing Sri Lanka's stance on the report issued by the High Commissioner of Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, Foreign Minister of Sri Lanka, Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, said that Sri Lanka dismisses this report presenting that the facts based in this report are baseless. He also said that it is regrettable that despite the spirit of cooperation with the Human Rights Council and its mechanism, elements working against Sri Lanka intend to table another country-specific resolution based on the report issued or compiled by the High Commissioner of Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet. He also insisted that the members of the UN Human Rights Council should be left to decide whether Sri Lanka represents a situation that warrants urgent attention. He also called on the member states to support Sri Lanka to defeat the resolution that will be brought forth by the UN core group that is being led by the UK. Now, the UK's Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Dominic Raab, also confirmed during his speech that they would indeed bring forth a resolution against Sri Lanka in the coming hours of the day. Now, drawing our attention back to Minister Dinesh Gunawardena's speech, he added that this rejected report by Sri Lanka has unjustifiably broadened its scope and mandate further incorporating many matters that are essentially domestic and in any self-respecting sovereign country. Therefore, as we have reported before, Sri Lanka has rejected the report issued by Michelle Bachelet, the High Commissioner on Human Rights. Now, when this report is tabled later today, we will bring you a detailed and comprehensive report on the contents of this report and the further updates on this report. Until then, it's back to the news studio to David.
Thank you, Jayamal, for that comprehensive update. Now, back to local news. Political leaders representing the northern province met the US ambassador to Sri Lanka, Elena B. Teplitz, today.
The meeting took place in Kokuville, Jaffna. Leader of the Ilangai UNHRC Kachi, Mavai Senadiraja, Senior Deputy Leader CVK Sivanyanam and MP Sivanyanam Sidaram also joined the discussion. Our correspondent said the discussion was on the island's issue pertaining to lands and human rights.
Meanwhile, a tense situation arose when leader of the opposition, Sajith Premadasa, attempted to speak about the expatriates in parliament today.
තාමත්ම සෝචනීය ඛේදනීය ප්‍රශ්නයක් පුතුමාගෙත් මේ සභාවෙත් අවධානය යොමු කරන්නයි මම මේ අවස්ථාව උපයෝගී කරගන්නේ.
Close to 40,000 expatriates are stranded in foreign countries. A large sum of money for air tickets, quarantine, PCR and several other matters are incurred to bring them down. The Foreign Employment Bureau has 14 billion rupees. So I asked the current government if they can use some of this money to bring down the Sri Lankans free of charge.
ඉංගරු කතානායකතුමනි මේක මානුෂීය ප්‍රශ්නයක්. මේක ඛේදනීය ප්‍රශ්නයක්.
order sir. ඔව්. අර කතානායකතුමනි දැන් මේ එතුමා මේ පිටරටින් ගෙන්නන
I ask based on what standing order you are making these inquiries, because the government is not prepared to answer the questions. The relevant ministers are not here. This is wrong.
මේක විතරක් මාධ්‍ය යනවා ඊට පස්සේ. අර කතානායකතුමා මම දැනගන්න කැමතියි මේ මොන රීතිය අනුවද මේ එතුමා කතා කරන්නේ මා විරුද්ධ නැහැ.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි
හදිසි කාරණයක් කියලා තමයි අවසානයේ
කාරණාවක් තමයි.
හදිසි කාරණයක්
ඔව්
කිව්වා.
හදිසි කාරණාවක්.
හරි බොහොම ඉස්සර ඉක්මනින් ඉක්මන් කළේ පුතුමා කිව්වනේ
පොඩ අවසන් නැහැ. 11 මාර වෙනකන් කාලේ තිබ්බා. මම විනාඩි 5යි ඉල්ලන්නේ. ඇයි රට විරුවන් ගැන කතා කරනකොට මේක නතර කරන්න හදන්නේ? මේ වර්තමාන රජයේ බිහි කරන්නට
විස්තරයක් නැතුව ඔබතුමා කියන දේ
සහයෝගය ලබා දුන්නු කණ්ඩායම.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි 27 එක ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න පුළුවන්. වැදගත් විදියට.
මේ රූප රාමු නතර කරන්න එපයි කියන්නේ.
දේශපාලනට වැටෙන්නේ නැතුව.
Conditions that were set by a regulation on providing fertilizer relief for the farmers have been removed by the order of the President. Minister of Agriculture Mahindananda Alutgamage said that this will allow buyers to purchase paddy from any farmer at a competitive rate.
රජය වීමෙට්‍රික් ටොන් ලක්ෂ 3ක සංචිතයක් තබා ගැනීමේ
In line with the national program to acquire paddy stocks of 3 metric tons by the government, the President has taken a special decision. Until now, the government purchased 1,000 kilograms of paddy from the farmers who cultivate for more than 1 hectare of land. Farmers conveyed their grievances regarding this, and considering their concerns, we decided to refrain from purchasing paddy from the farmers that are being facilitated from the fertilizer relief, and have now allowed the Paddy Marketing Board to purchase paddy from any farmer.
ගොවියට දෙන්න පුළුවන් උපරිම විල වියලේ මණ්ඩලය ලබා දෙන්න අවශ්‍ය කටයුතු කරනවා.
The foundation stone for the new head office of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumana was laid in Nelumawata in Battaramulla. This was under the patronage of Minister Chamal Rajapaksa. A group of ministers and MPs participated in the ceremony at the site of the new head office of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumana in Nelumawata, Battaramulla.
පක්ෂයේ වෘත්තීය සමිති සහ අනිකුත් සිසු සංවිධානවල මූලස්ථානයක් හැටියට මෙම නව ගොඩනැගිල්ල ඉදිවෙන සුබ මොහොත. ඒක තමයි අද සිදු වෙන්නේ. මම හිතන්නේ අපේ පක්ෂයේ ඉදිරි ගමනට මේක විශාල ගමනයක් වෙනවා. ඉස්සෙල්ලා මේ ටික ප්‍රධාන නායකතුමා වෙනුවෙන් තමයි මම පැමිණ තියෙන්නේ.
මොකද මෙතන මුල්ගල එතුමා වෙන්න ඕන සමහරක් වෙලාවට.
ඊට වඩා ලොකුයි ඊට වඩා හොඳයි.
නායකත්වයේ වෙනසක්.
නායකත්වයේ නෑ නායකත්වයේ වෙනසක් වෙන්නේ. නායකත්වයේම තමයි.
Insufficient water for paddy cultivation in Nachaduwa has severely inconvenienced the lives of the farmers in the area. Close to 20,000 farming families are benefited under the Nachaduwa agriculture movement. However, insufficient water during the Yala season has left these farmers and their families helpless. They charge that it is difficult to obtain water for cultivation as the 14 tanks nurtured by the Nachaduwa reservoir under the Nachaduwa project has been completely filled. They further point out that despite informing the relative authorities about this for many years, a suitable solution has not yet been found. Meanwhile, 48 graduates, including junior staff of hospitals island-wide, commenced a strike today. The Health Services Trade Union Collective said the strike will continue tomorrow as well. The strike is underway seeking solutions for 11 main demands, including job confirmations, providing risk allowances, uniform allowances and festival advances. Newsfirst correspondents toured several areas of the island to inquire into the situation of hospitals island-wide. Speaking to Newsfirst, the director of the National Hospital said operations of the National Hospital are continuing as usual despite the ongoing strike. However, a protest is being held at the Eye Hospital. The OPD of the Kurunegala Base Hospital has been closed due to the protest. Ambulance drivers have also refrained from carrying out their duties, causing further hindrances. A majority of the minor staff at the Dambula Base Hospital has not reported for duty today. Staff at the Anuradhapura Hospital were also on strike. Operations of the Anuradhapura, Hatton, Dikoya and Karapitya hospitals have also been disrupted. This strike is currently being carried out by 48 grades, including junior staff of hospitals island-wide. Meanwhile, a tense situation arose at the MOH office in Narayanpeta earlier this morning.
A large crowd had gathered opposite the MOH office in Narayanpeta to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. A tense situation arose among the crowd when they were informed that only a limited number of people will be allowed to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Our correspondent said that a group of police officers also visited the location.
රෙජිස්ටර් කරාට පස්සේ අද එන්න කිව්වා. දැන් ෆෝන් නම්බර් එකක් දුන්නා ෆෝන් කරලා ආන්සර් කරන්නේ නැහැ. මෙහෙමම බැලුවම කොරෝනා හැදෙන්නත් ඉඩ තියලා මෙතනම.
And with that, we wrap up lunchtime news here on TV1. For more news, log on to our award-winning website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I'm David Paldano. Take care.